Alright, really quick, I wanted to get into the power of Watson Discovery. So if you go to cloud.ibm.com/login, it'll take you to this screen, and we'll just go ahead and log in. Set that up. And I want to walk you through a brief demo of the Watson tutorial and how you can use that to gain insights from certain documentation. So first you get to this screen and you have to set up a resource. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and hit this button over here. This is create resource. Come up in the search and type Watson Discovery. You don't even have to type the whole, and that's the one right here. So you just click that. It takes you here. Of course, this is just the free tier, so it's, the pricing is, subject to the amount of, documents and processing you're going to run. Here's kind of a little quick breakdown on, just how expensive it can get. So you have, $45,000 a month or $45,000 in instance month is, upper level. We're just going to go with the 0 to 1,000 documents per month, one custom item, 200 news queries per month. So we're just going to go with that. I just leave it as the location is the default for me, which is Dallas, US South. So then you'll come over here and just click create resource. So when you do that, it's going to take a little bit of time to spin up the resource, and then we could just go from there. You see, it's just still creating and everything. It does take a little bit of time to spin up these servers and these models. So you'll get this, that the service has been created, and it pulls you back to your resource list on your in your personal account dashboard. And as you can see, it just gave it a random name, Watson Discovery 5V. Default group, the location was Dallas. It's the Watson Discovery product, and the provision is still in progress. So we're going to give that some time, and then once that finishes, we're going to go into the resource, and then we'll create our own data source or a data collection, and that's just basically a collection of the documents that you would like to gather insights from. Alright, so we're back. Once this says active, we'll go ahead and click on it, but if you notice, I had to spin up a different service. I was running into some conflict, so no big deal. I just deleted the previous one and spin this up. So we'll click on that, and then the first page you're going to go to is basically kind of like a details page of that service, and you'll have your API keys and your URLs if you want to go call your service through an API or some CLI tool, but that's neither here nor there. If you see, we're still on our free plan. So there's your API key. So we're going to go ahead and click the Launch Watson Discovery button, and that takes us into our actual discovery page. So if you remember, back when we first started, we had the discovery news on the pricing tier. So you had 200 free calls or 200 free queries to discovery news, but we're going to ignore that for now, and we want to upload our own data. So we'll go ahead and click that. We'll continue on with our light plan still, because we don't want to incur any charges. So we'll set this up, and then it says okay, continue. So we'll just give it a name. You see I have some already in here, so we'll just go the dissension, just about protests and social tipping points, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and those are the documents actually, if you look at. So, and all you have to do is drop and drag your documents over there, but I want to kind of give you a brief insight into the documents that we're actually going to be using to run our analytics on. So this is just a PDF that I downloaded. It's predicting social tipping points, and it has it's a research paper, and so that's kind of where we're going to be using. That's the first one. The second one is protests and there are others, just another research paper on protests and stuff like that. And then the third one we'll be using is state fragility. It's towards a multidimensional empirical topology. So just kind of something around stability of governments, and those are the three documents that we're going to be using. So we just go ahead and highlight all of them, and we'll just drag them onto our panel, or our pane, our upload pane, and you'll get this. It's going to take a little bit for it to go ahead and ingest and process and extract all of the text out of those PDFs. So once we get done with that part, we'll come back and I'll show you how to run it from there. Alright, so once the documents get loaded, you'll be presented with this screen, and as you can see, like, I have 2 errors, or warnings actually. It's just letting me know that the documents exceed 50,000 characters. So that's the limitation that Watson Discovery sets on any documents to run through. So, but you can see now you have the 2 collections. So we'll just get into our dissension collection. It's the 3 documents that we uploaded, and then it identified a certain field. But if you just go straight to the search and you just search for documents, I've already put in some search terms or whatever, but I just wanted to find them, show you that they're actually in the document. So we'll look for something from predicting the social tipping points, and I just had this question ready to go. It's destabilized by negative spillover effects. So we'll just look for, we'll find that in the document, spillover effects, and you see due to spillover into Texas, there it is. So at a regional level, neighbors may be destabilized by negative spillover effects. So what I wanted to do was just see if it actually provides answers to that question. Go back to the document, I'll pull it back up. It shows that the answer to the question that I'm about to ask is neighbors. So it's, put that in. It says who may be destabilized by the negative spillover effect. So we'll just run that query, and you see here's the output of certain passages, and then the state may tolerate, and then it does show the actual text where it's pulled from. So that's pretty good response level. It pulls out the key phrases, and then it does other NLP actions such as the keyword effects effectively. It does stemming and lemmatization, things like that. So pretty good from there. We'll just do 3 more from the different text that we loaded. So we have from the state fragility PDF that we loaded. Let's look for, like I said, I pulled these questions out already. So let's just look for complicated reality. That's one of the questions that we'll go ahead and answer. So, and you see the problem with indexes, or the problem with these indexes, however, is that they tend to simplify the complicated reality. So there we have, we know it's in there, and we'll just take that question and shoot it over to the Watson Discovery and run it and see what it pulls back. And there you have it. It pulls back the passages, and here's the results. So it just returns the text. The problem with these indexes, however, is that they tend to, so it doesn't actually answer the question, but it does give you the passages. And then we'll just do one last one from, which one is it? The protests and their others paper. So I just pulled out one from there. It's protective anger, inner voice. It's a passage that's in there, and we'll get to it. It says, so the Black Panther moved uncomfortably in her chair and tightened up her body and face. She spoke without looking at me. First of all, we got red, blah, blah, blah. There was protective anger in her voice. So let's just see what Watson has for us when we ask that question. And we'll run that query. And it actually pulls out. You can see once again, it tells you where it was, the actual document that it was in, once again, and the text. So it just kind of pulls out. And then once again, it does other protect, voice, protected, protection. So it kind of does a lot with what you provided, and I think that's pretty good. This is just a quick, like I said, this is just a little quick tutorial running through the power of Watson Discovery. Keep in mind that this was not trained. This model was not trained. This is straight out of the box, what's provided on a very light, but the free tier of the Watson service. I'm quite sure with more training and better data analysis, you can actually go in and get much better results. There's this configure your data tab up here, and that allows you to go in and start selecting certain fields, and you can identify different parts. You can remove or actually not scan certain pages, so you just go through and select which pages you want. So you can pull down. We'll just go through. There's table of contents. We don't really need that. That's maybe the executive summary. We want to do that, and you could just hit submit page, and you can see it's starting to block out, like it's starting to extract the text from those pages. So let's just do that again. Submit page. Once you submit the page for analysis, it throws a green checkbox on it, so you can just go through and start. You can use these features to get even deeper and better analytics into the text or the documents that you submitted. So that's just one little take on it. Then of course you can manage fields, and it allows you to say, okay, well, we don't have any answers yet. We don't want the author. We don't really care about footers, headers, images. We haven't added any questions. We don't really need subtitles. We don't want the table of contents. maybe there's some tables in the document that we want, so you could leave that on, and then maybe there's some text that, or there is definitely some text in there that you want, and then maybe you could kind of get that from extract some information from the different titles. Once you do that, you just go ahead and hit apply changes, and then you re-upload your documents, and it will map back to those. It goes back to the screen. Of course, it takes a little while to analyze and pre-process the documents, and to come back up. It's actually not ready. There's a little wheel that'll start spinning next to the number of documents that you upload, and then once it's ready, it'll be good to go. So once again, that's just a quick breakdown, a quick little demo of text extraction and somewhat of a Q&A search model for IBM Watson Discovery.